I think we did it.
Yeah, it said recording in progress. So yeah, I see it.
Dude, I cheated the system. We're using my college like email and Zoom account that the college is paying for to talk about Scream. That's fucking funny as shit. Okay, then I guess let's just do the damn thing.
You're okay. This one, real fucking ugly.
You're dead.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
You just bought yourself another Saturday.
Christ.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
This is going to be the Scream 6 spoiler talk. I am Maximus Cardillo. That right there is my friend Ryan. Ryan, what did you think about Scream 6, dude?
All right. So my initial thought was it was great until it wasn't.
Oh, so you
I
one of the people that thinks that it wasn't a good film?
no, at first something was up with the final. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's just take it from the beginning. Then. Let's take it from the beginning.
They
What was your automatic reaction when Ghostface took off his mask in the beginning of the film when the film professor was killed in the alleyway? Because that blew my mind and I
yeah,
loved every second of it.
that was different. I went with my brother. Okay, so when that happened, we just go, what? And then and I'm like, okay, let's see what happens next. And then it just kept going. So me and my brother knew something was coming.
I thought at first we were gonna have a whole entire Scream movie where we follow from the killer's perspective, but that wasn't it at all. Eventually we get to his dorm room and he finds his buddy chopped up in the refrigerator, and the real Ghostface, the one that we kept seeing in the trailers with the beat up mask, comes in and just murders this guy. And you thought that he was Ghostface, but turns out nope. And it was a really I think it was a better opening than Scream 4, and I'm a big Scream 4 opening fanatic.
That's actually what I thought at first. What this was, I thought it was like a stab opening.
Oh, you thought it was gonna be like a stab intro, and then it was gonna be like
Yeah,
stab.
he took his mask off, so I'm like, huh. And then it just kept going, so I'm like, okay.
I thought it was really cool that uh the teacher was on a dating profile and she got catfished, and it was one of her students. They've never done that in a Scream movie where it was like a dating website and you're meeting somebody online. Like it literally was perfect for the Scream universe.
Yeah,
At
I
least
agree.
in my opinion.
Um, the only thing about the opening I would have liked to see is the other Ghostface get chopped up. Because we don't really know exactly what happened there.
I mean, it doesn't really leave much up to interpretation. Dude got chopped up, but I really liked how they had Jason on the TV, paying homage to obviously Jason Takes Manhattan, because this movie takes place in New York as well. Did you catch on to that one or what?
Yeah, I saw that.
That I like that too. I can't wait to go watch this movie a second time. Like we said, we're gonna go see it a second time before we rank the whole franchise, and we're gonna try and pick out Easter eggs. But I feel like I caught on to a good amount of stuff on the first watch. But
Yeah,
I'm just like that when I watch movies. I pick every little thing and analyze, and I'm looking over to my friends like, that's because this and that's why this is, and
yeah.
I'm like a really annoying person to watch movies with, but then some people love that and some people hate that. So I mean, it really depends who you are.
No, that's how I was with my brother. Like I kept saying, this is gonna come. Like, look,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kept saying, look at that parallel, like or something,
Right.
because there's the parallel right there. I think you know what I'm talking about.
So I really liked. So we finally get the opening kill that we just talked about. You know, title screen rolls, and then we're instantly thrown in, and we're catching up with Tara, Sam, and the core four, and they're at college, and I really dug how they portrayed Sam on the internet, how she was framed for being the Ghostface in Scream 5, and that one chick threw water on her after she just went to the party to save her sister. Not to mention at that party, Chad. This movie was Chad's
Yeah.
mo- like I fell in love with his character. I didn't like him in Five Cream, but in this one, dude,
Yeah.
he's up to the plate, don't you think?
This might be a hot take and all, but I really did not care for the core four or whatever until this movie. Like this,
I totally agree. In Scream 5, I was like, okay, new characters, whatever. I still prefer my legacy characters. In
Mhm.
Scream 6, it was like, I don't need legacy characters. I like these guys could carry the franchise from here on out, and that is what they needed. But I think the characters were just so well written, and like you said, until they weren't.
Mhm.
So it's stuff like the good writing that I'm referring to is when Chad is at the party and he's trying to get his roommate laid, and then he goes and he steps up to the guy who was about to take advantage of Jenna Ortega's character, and
Yep.
he's just this tough guy, and he's just a good guy. Like if I were to have a friend in the Scream universe, I would want Chad to be my friend, dude. Just a solid guy. And the main gripe I have with the writing, I think, is how often they point fingers at each other. Like Mindy, dude, I think she was the worst of the core four in this movie, dude. She's like telling you the rules of a sequel to a requel, and she's like, and you're Ghostface, and you're Ghostface, and stay away from me, you're Ghostface.
Yeah.
Did you get what I'm saying? She was pretty
Like-
annoying.
Yeah. Like over the top with it. Randy was more like he said it once and suspected you. He didn't know it was you, but like, you know?
Right. Mindy's like, yeah, Randy, it was, I think because Wes Craven's direction and the way Kevin Williamson used to write was less on the nose. I said this in my Scream 6 review video. When Kevin Williamson wrote the movies and Wes Craven was directing them, it was way more subtle. The subtleties were there. Like a Ghostface killing would happen, and then a character would run into the room and be like, oh, I'm gonna put that on my list. You're suspicious, man. You are really suspicious. But in this world, with these writers, it's like somebody would show up and it wouldn't be subtle, but that was weird. You're on the list, and I'm gonna let everybody in the room know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how Mindy was with Jack Champion's character.
Mm-hmm.
She called it from the beginning, but she was so over the top with it, especially in the subway scene. She literally didn't let him come near her in the subway, which I thought was like, I don't know.
Like, what if he wasn't the killer and he got attacked? Like, come on.
I don't know. I just think Mindy's writing it just wasn't as strong as Randy's used to be. And I think
I got to call out something, though. Mindy got absolutely obliterated on train. And then at the end, she's all running around and shit. You seen that, right?
I was getting to that.
Running.
I was pissed. I was actually that was when I was like, dude, it was such a good movie. And then you have this chick come running she literally got stabbed, the knife turned inside of her, like she's about to die. And then she comes running to the crime scene at the end of the movie, and she's cracking jokes, and she's like, oh, I didn't guess all the killers. But that's my only gripe with this movie. It was such a good time. Like
it's an rewatch. I'll find myself rewatching this.
This is a rewatchable one. I would say this is way more rewatchable than Five Cream, wouldn't you say?
Indeed.
Like when it comes to Halloween this season, and I'm going to be doing my Halloween marathon that I always do, I will definitely be going to Scream 6 over Five Cream. And I think over a lot of the Scream sequels, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest. This one, it's the original. and then Scream 6 is really up there, dude. Really fucking up there. Like, my only problems is what we just talked about. Besides what we just talked about with the Mindy stuff and everybody getting stabbed and miraculously surviving, I think this is one of my favorite sequels. And maybe that's just because it's new and it's so fresh and the excitement's there and everybody's enjoying it now that it's in theaters the opening weekend. But I don't know, man. I really like this one.
I have to I don't know, I'm gonna hold on that until I rewatch it, but I do like it a lot. I'd say it's like top 3 for me.
I just,
Right.
in the originals, it's like Sydney is the chick. She's the main focus, and of
I-
course Dewey and Gail. But in this one, I really gave a shit about Sam, Tara, Chad, Mindy, plus Gail, plus Kirby.
Yes, Kirby.
Let's talk about Kirby, dude.
What was your reaction when the detective called and said she wasn't an FBI agent?
Oh, dude. I
Me
literally
and my brother, like, we thought she was the killer.
no, I looked over to my friends. I was like, yes, it's Kirby. Kirby's the killer, dude. And I was so on board with that because do you remember in the beginning of the movie when the one Ghostface that unmasked Tony, I think his name was Tony. Maybe I don't know. Tony, the dude, I think
Jason.
was it?
Tony. Yeah, the character.
I will fact check it right now. God, I feel stupid. I'm not cutting this out. Being completely truthful and honest. This is a spoiler talk, Maximus Cardillo channel. Are you not entertained? Fucking fuck. Jason, yeah. Yeah, Tony is okay, no, wait, no. Yeah, wait a minute.
It's
Yeah.
Jason, right?
Yeah, it's Jason. The actor's name is Tony.
Yeah.
So I wasn't wrong and you weren't wrong. We were both right. Okay, so Jason is getting killed. Remember how he was explaining how his killing experience went, and he was like,
Yeah.
it was like she was meat, and every time I kept stabbing her, she was like more like meat.
Mhm.
And then the real Ghostface comes in and murders him, and the Ghostface says something along the lines of, "Is this like meat? Are you like meat?" And then it almost like the Ghostface was kind of getting revenge because this kid was going around killing people as if their lives meant nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's take a full circle to make my point about Kirby. I thought it was going to be Kirby, but she would be almost like a vigilante, kind of like a anti-hero. Like she goes around killing the bad people, kind of like Sam's character.
Yeah.
Goes around murdering bad guys.
I just would not want Kirby dead. Come on. You can't
Well,
kill
no. Well, no. I'm glad they didn't kill her, but I wouldn't have had a problem if she was running around as Ghostface, killing, potential Ghostfaces.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I thought it was Kirby at first.
Because she said she took an interest on Ghostface attacks.
Exactly. So I thought it would make total sense as to why the shrine was there. She's an FBI agent, can go almost to any jurisdiction and get these, Ghostface artifacts and accumulate them. But I guess it also makes sense for Detective Bailey to have them because he is a high-ranking detective. And they said it in the movie, it doesn't take much to get evidence. It takes the right amount of leeway, the right amount of money, and you can get any evidence you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With that being said, Detective Bailey being the father to Richie from Five Cream, I honestly think having the whole family perspective to this made me like Richie's character even more, dude. You know what I mean? Now when I watch Scream 5 and I know Richie went and he collected all those Ghostface artifacts and he made short films because on the theater screen in New York, in the theater, those were Richie's old short films that he used to make.
Yeah. It was like before he donned Ghostface or whatever, right?
Yeah, but he was so inspired, and that it was almost like giving a backstory to the killer. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't recall if I don't think that's ever happened in the franchise before. It was almost like a backstory or a retelling of it. Like we did have Mrs. Loomis in Scream 2, which is homage. Scream 6 is homage definitely to Scream 2 with the family dynamic and the basic revenge plot.
Yeah.
But this one, we didn't learn more about Billy because of Mrs. Loomis. We learned more about Richie in Scream 6. You get what I'm getting at?
Yeah. That actually does make me appreciate Richie more.
Did you think about that before I said that, or did what I just said make you think that?
That made me think.
Right, because there's the whole dialogue of the father saying, like, I know the movies are fucked up and they're violent and whatever, but my son took a liking to them and my son loved them.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The father is just as mentally not there as the son, hence why he's going to get revenge and, you know, and it's a screen plot. You know what I mean? It's cool. I really appreciate that.
What was your thoughts on fucking, oh my god. So I have to say, I think Sam is like the best non Ghostface killer.
Oh,
Yeah,
killer. Oh, yeah.
like
I,
shit.
I was, she's like, yeah,
I
dude,
loved
the way he was going after Detective Bailey's arms in the ending when she was like, and then in the other arm.
and then that ending, holy shit. That was like that was hard to watch.
I liked when she put the Ghostface costume on.
That looked badass as fuck.
Yeah, and she's like, "You're in my horror movie now."
I
I was
uh
like,
I liked the voice they did with it. Like it when Ghostface actually talks to them, not on the phone, but like you know what I'm getting at?
with like the voice changer inside the mask.
Yeah, I liked that.
I like that, and I think Roger Jackson kicked into another gear in this movie, or it was just the dialogue that was written, because he had some really good one-liners in this one. He was so fucking angry and rude in this one, and I loved every second of it. Like in other Ghostface movies, or in other Scream movies, Ghostface, he he's written subtly different in each movie because it's always a different killer, obviously. But in
Yeah.
this, I just loved it. I loved every second of it. And people, let's just talk about this for a second. Let's I might clip this out and make this its own short little video. People want to hate on Scream 6 because of the reveal of the killer being Detective Bailey and a revenge plot. A simple, down to earth revenge plot. You know what I mean? A good and truthful, basic revenge plot. And people have been dying, crying in the anticipation to Scream 6 that they wanted a ghost face that didn't stumble and trip and fall. A
Yeah.
ghost
We got that.
Yeah, a ghost face that went around brutalizing people and had a menacing look about him, which he did. Just look at the bodega scene with the shotgun.
Yep.
Just look at the scene, the ladder scene when he's shaking the ladder and he's bursting through the door. I
That
mean,
God, remember how he like picked the Asian girl up by her neck? Like, oh my, we've
he right. But point being is people want to say that they didn't get what they wanted out of this movie. I think those people are the ones that went into this with the high expectation of Stu being the killer. They went into it thinking like, oh, Stu, it's going to be Cult of Ghostface. Stu's still alive. And then when it turns out being these, original characters, let's put it, these original characters, they're not legacy characters. They're just, these new characters introduced for Scream 6. And everybody was let down by it. But think about it. You got what you wanted with the brutalizing ghost face. You got what you wanted when They told us they were going to be in New York. They used the landscape to their advantage with especially the subway scene where Mindy's getting stabbed in a subway full of people, but nobody's there to help her and nobody's even paying attention.
No one hears you scream.
Exactly. I don't know. I don't see how people can say that this was a bad entry into the Scream franchise. And I think that is kind of what's wrong with horror nowadays. And not even horror, it's almost all genres of movies. Like people were hating on Ant-Man, but I'm gonna bring it to the horror aspect with Halloween Ends. People hated on that movie because of the risks that it took. You know,
I act like it's not my favorite, but I liked it.
okay, well, good. I can appreciate that because Halloween Ends to me is a great movie, and I don't compare it to Halloween 4. You know, where Michael Myers is at his peak and he's going around stalking and killing people. I just look at it as a movie. What did people say when they were going into Halloween Ends? You know, what were they saying for 40 years prior? Oh, kill Michael Myers, chop his body into little pieces so he can't come back, burn him alive, slit his wrists, bleed him out. And what did they do in Halloween Ends? They they cut him up into little pieces, they bled him out, and they made sure he can never come back again. That's what we're asking for. That's what everybody is saying. Let's kill Michael Myers. Now I understand that they had the whole subplot of the other killer in the movie. I understand that, and it was basically a love movie, a really fucked up romance movie with a lot of aspects of horror, which I don't understand how you couldn't like, but I grew to love the characters that they introduced in that movie, yada yada yada. I just think people need to accept movies, as movies and not as, an overarching. I think the franchise aspect of everything kind of overshadows a singular movie. So like people are not going to say Scream 6 is a good movie just because it doesn't add up to the reveal in the original Scream 1996 of Billy and Stu. Like,
yeah.
Because it's in a franchise, you're comparing it to all of these, you're comparing it to 5 other movies.
Mm-hmm.
So if it doesn't stack up to, 1 or 2 of those, it's not it's not a good movie in their eyes. They can't differentiate this entry as its own thing. They got to think of it with all these other things. And I don't personally agree with that. How do you feel about that?
I completely agree with you because I don't obviously number 1's the best one to me, but other than that, it's hard to rank every other movie in this franchise because I like every one. Like before going into 6, I went back and binged. Oh shit! I went back and binge watched 1 through 5 multiple times just to try to pick up on something,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know, man. I just think that the toxicity in the fandom, in the community,
Yes.
it really is. It gets to a point where it's almost annoying. Like I came out of the movie loving it, and I went to go talk to my friend this morning at work, and I was like, "Dude, great movie, great movie." Oh, I already read the spoilers. A revenge plot. It's just not good, dude. It's just bad writing. It's lazy writings. They're not taking a chance. They took the franchise to New York.
Right? So I'm on TikTok and I post Scream content and it is so toxic, bro.
Right. Because people want to hate on it because, they'll find their reasons. Stu wasn't the killer. The reveal was lackluster because it wasn't a legacy character.
Mm-hmm.
But let me refresh all of your minds. Scream 2, we got Billy's mom and Mickey, okay? Who the fuck was Mickey before Mickey was in fucking Scream 2?
Right.
He was fucking nowhere. And where was Mrs. Loomis in the original Scream? Fucking nowhere. So why is everybody complaining that Richie's dad popped out of the blue and he has 2 fucking siblings? So what? It's homage to Scream 2. It's classic Scream paying homage to itself. And
Yeah.
yet I still didn't see it coming. And I watched all the Scream movies over and over countless times, and I still didn't see it coming
Mm-hmm.
because the writing was so good. The red herrings were so good.
What was your thoughts on the girl with the fake out death? Like
Oh,
that was
the daughter's fake out death.
yeah.
So I don't have a problem with it inherently. I think it added to the surprise at the end when she took her mask off. I was like, oh my god, we had a fake of the death. The only correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. The only other fake out death that we got as a Ghostface killer was Billy, Scream 1996.
Fake out death.
Right? Because Billy got stabbed.
Roman Bridger did too.
He really?
Yeah. Gail checked his pulse in like the basement or something. He was in a casket.
Oh.
He was
Oh.
with the stab stuff.
Oh. You think you're right. Yeah. Scream 3 is the one that I'm most fuzzy on. I think that's the one I've watched the least in the whole franchise, if I'm being completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why you're here, the spoiler talk. Okay. Well, point being, fake out deaths are kind of rare. So then that's 2. Then we counted Billy, who got stabbed and he came out, remember? And it was like pig's blood, and he licked his fingers, like used in Carrie. And he came down the steps, and that's when we found out it was Billy.
Yep.
I think that's what added to that reveal.
That Roman did too, because he was like the idea man. Maybe he relayed that info to Billy,
Yeah. Okay. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. If you liked Roman as a killer, real quick, you did.
He's underrated as hell, man.
He's underrated as hell.
Yes.
I can get behind it only because Billy and Stu were in high school, and of course they would need a mastermind or somebody to fund them, like a really rich kid with a silver spoon in his mouth, like Roman Bridger.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I didn't like about Scream 3 was the fact that Sydney's mom was an actress for like a year or 2 and got, raped, and then they did that whole plot.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a, they almost jumped the shark there.
They called out Hollywood on that one.
I mean, I did dig that. But overall, I think I would prefer Scream 6 just because of the gas pedal being pushed down the whole time. Dude, the beginning, the beginning felt like it never ended. Usually in a Scream movie, you get that opening kill and it's like, boom, Scream, whatever. And then it's like, okay, slow down the pace. It's like peak, kill, slow down the pace. Here's our characters and here's what they're doing now. This one was like, opening kill. Oh, and then it goes up past that climax because he took his mask off, goes home, talks about it with his buddy. He's got all the stab memorabilia in his closet in his dorm. Then we find out there's another Ghostface, peaks even more. Then opening credits. Then boom, main characters. But it's not slow. Boom, it's a Halloween party, which credits to the writers, dude. I love fucking Halloween. It's my favorite holiday over Christmas, over fucking 4th of July, over Easter, over.
It started right away from the time. Yeah, okay.
Right. It started right away. It's Halloween. We're at a party,
Wish Halloween aspect in it, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. I guess they didn't want to step on the toes of Mikey Myers, but they could have thrown in a pumpkin or 2. I don't think there was not even one pumpkin or Halloween decoration.
Just a bunch of costumes.
Just a bunch of costumes just to hide the fact that Ghostface could be anywhere, which I really, really loved. That was brilliant. Halloween in New York City with Ghostface on the loose. So good, dude. I don't know why people hate this movie.
I don't either, man. It would have been so cool if, since there was 5 killers, right? If we got like a scene at the Halloween party with like, oh no, what I'm
like with all of them in costume there.
No, but one of them, like, he doesn't kill, but say it's him,
I don't know. This is why I have to rewatch it. What if he was? What if he was in the background?
I have to watch it. I have to rewatch it, but that's something to look at.
Yeah, this could age really, really badly, this video, because we could go and watch it again and he could be there in the background. But I don't know, man. I just really, really love this entry into the movie. I think, what do you think about everybody saying that Gale and Kirby were shoehorned into the movie?
I think, what the fuck were you even watching? Because Gale or Kirby has like what 15, 20 minutes of screen time. Gale was done really well, I'd say.
Well, yeah.
That was good.
Well, yeah. I mean, they took Gale back to her roots.
You know,
They took Gale back to her roots. Yeah. She lost Dewey, so now she's gonna go back to her fundamentals, what she knows. She
Mhm.
wrote a book about the events in Woodsboro from Scream 5. Remember when she was talking to Tara and Sam about it?
Yeah, I do wish she wrote the book about Dewey instead, but
Well, I'm sure Dewey was in it.
yeah, that's
So
true.
technically, there's probably a whole chapter on it, but we don't, have the book tangibly to read it. But she went back to her fundamentals. She wrote a book about Woodsboro and the killings that Richie and Amber did. And she's in New York, which we already knew she was from the previous movie. So it doesn't make her seem out of place in New York. She's a
Yep.
reporter. She showed up on the scene of a crime looking for info. She just so happens to know these characters from the last movie. So it all makes sense.
Yep.
Not to mention, I think people forget there was a line in the movie and it gives Gale even more purpose, dude. Gale, let's see if you remember this. Gale is the one that found the theater
Yep.
that Richie
I
and
I
family-
liked the scene because it shows how smart she is compared to someone who's really fucking smart. You know?
right, because Gale, it does her justice. It shows how witty and smart she was, which is true to character.
And I loved that scene between her and Kirby.
Right. Which the only problem with that is Kirby's an FBI agent. How couldn't she find the theater if she's got all the databases and resources that the FBI has? But then again, you can retcon what I just said with Detective Bailey was so good at covering his tracks, and that's how he convoluted the whole storyline that the FBI couldn't catch wind of it. But Gale Weathers, who dealt with multiple ghost faces in the past, could.
Yeah.
I'm with it, dude. For each negative thing, there's two more positives to make up in this movie, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, whatever. It was a family and a revenge plot, but so was Scream 2, and this was an homage to that. Scream 2 was set on a college campus. This was set on a college campus. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. I loved the talk with Kirby and Mindy too. What'd you?
What's your favorite Friday movie?
Yeah.
And she said, didn't Kirby say the final chapter?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It gave me like moments of, say, Step Brothers that seemed like, did we just become best friends?
Oh yeah. It gave me homage almost to Scream 4 when Kirby was listing off all the horror movies towards in Scream 4 when she did that, and they were just listing off Candyman, the original or the requel. They went Friday. What's your favorite Friday movie? And they just I thought it was really cool. I kind of wish there was maybe a couple more moments of that with Kirby, but then again, there's a killer on the loose. She's an FBI agent. She's not gonna just start talking about horror when she's on the job. How about that line that Gale gave, and that's how they wrote Nev Campbell's Sidney Prescott out. I thought that was really well done. When Gale said that Sidney deserves her happy ending.
Yeah, I agree. And I like that they're mentioning Mark Kincaid still.
I was just about to say that. Mark Kincaid. So Scream 3, it's perfect.
I hope we get that motherfucker back, please, because I actually liked him.
Yeah, I mean, what if, fantasy writing, fantasy booking, what if, Scream 7, which I can only imagine is coming out next year.
Yeah.
What if it was like an Avengers Endgame? Everybody's in it, dude. Kincaid, Sydney comes back, Gail because she survived, Chad because she survived, Mindy because she survived, Tara, Sam, Kirby, yeah, because Kirby said, "Call me if you need help."
Mm-hmm.
At the end, and Stu Macher,
Yes.
right?
Stu back, man.
And you do a Cult of Ghostface. I really do want to see a Cult of Ghostface. I want to see like 5
Oh.
ghost faces on the screen, just wrecking shit.
Do you know the original Scream 3 script or whatever?
It was
Or-
Stu as the killer.
Yeah.
It was Stu at the killer, and then Columbine happened,
Yep.
and then they had
that, man. But fun fact, Kevin Williamson actually went back on that idea for a show. He didn't use like Ghostface, but he used the plot of that show, and it's for a show, and it's called The Following.
really.
With Kevin Bacon, and it's really good.
So he used his original Scream 3 plot, is what you're
Yes.
saying? Really?
Instead of the killer being obsessed with Ghostface that's in prison, though, he's obsessed with Edgar Allan Poe. It's
And
pretty stuff.
All his creepy writings and stuff.
Yes.
Wow. Well, you learn something new every day. The Following, you said?
The Following. I have the whole set here. Yeah, it's really good. Try it out, man.
Is it a TV series?
Yes. It came out 2013, I want to say.
A whole TV series using the Scream 3 plot?
Yes.
Oh my god.
When they get to him and his cult, it's you'll love it, man. I'm telling you, like it's not Ghostface, but they're all in black robes in like this scene worshipping the killer.
So it's it sounds pretty close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's hope that we get that in Scream 7. I mean,
I need that, please.
Dude, I mean, you heard that Matthew Lilliard's involved with Five Nights at Freddy's, the film, right?
Yes.
He's still actively working in Hollywood. He's a big contributor to Scream's continued success because he goes to all the conventions still, and signs stuff as Stu Macher. He's begging to come back.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't yet.
Because I think the story has to be just right. And do you think Kevin Williamson is on board with it? Because I remember hearing that Kevin Williamson, killed that.
In The Following, I don't want to spoil it for you. Never mind.
Well, I guess we'll see because I don't know. I have trust in Radio Silence. They've done a good job on these 2 movies that they just did. Screams.
I think Kevin would be on board with it, to answer your question.
Ooh, gets me excited, I guess. So I'm assuming it's next year. I mean, they popped this one off within a year from the last.
Mm-hmm.
So
saw that Scream 7 was actually greenlit a few days before 6 opening night.
So it's already greenlit, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's to shoot summertime, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
So then the editing, they could have it out by March of next year, if not, yeah. That'd put them on pace.
I'd love for like the same time frame,
Now, do you want them to end the whole franchise with 7, or would you want it to continue?
That's a tough question because it depends on how good 7 is. If it flops, of course I want it to continue, you know? But if it's what people want, Stu, I think it, because he should be the last Ghostface, in my opinion. He never came back for one last scare. So if it is Stu, I think it'd be a perfect ending. But if it's not, keep that shit going.
I know, but it's like how soon can this get redundant? Like how many fuckers can pop up out of nowhere wanting revenge or liking the stab movies, you know?
I mean, they can also like make a different timeline, say, you know?
Well, that's the truth. You know what I originally wanted for Scream 6? I
What?
wanted Stu to be revealed at the end as the mastermind behind the cult of Ghostface. Almost like what we got. Like in the beginning, we got those two dudes in college, the two film students that were going out and they were trying to finish Richie's movie.
Yeah.
And then we found out that there was a mastermind behind that. But then imagine if there was a mastermind behind, Richie's family, and it was Stu who needed revenge on Sam Carpenter because he knew that that's the daughter to Billy Loomis, the man who had his life ruined.
Yeah.
Imagine if Stu was revealed with scars on his face at the end of Scream 6 after the whole family was killed when Sam and Tara were sitting there on the stage at the end. And imagine if Stu comes out and, kills fucking Jenna Ortega. They would never do that, but like some crazy shit, or kills Kirby. Kirby comes up and she's like, "Oh guys, like I'm still alive." Psh, Stu fucking Mocker, and he killed Kirby. And
Yeah.
and then it's like, I'm here to get revenge because your father ruined my life. And I would have it as Stu was living in hiding his whole life. He wasn't in prison because everybody thinks he's dead. Because in the Ghostface Shrine, it says Stu Mocker, death, 1996. So people think he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine
But
that.
they keep making the jokes. Is he still alive?
Exactly, because they want to put that in our minds as a red herring, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just think that would have been perfect. Anyway, my point being is, what if Stu was revealed at the end of Scream 6, and it's like a Empire Strikes Back kind of an ending, and then we know who the Ghostface is in Scream 7, because it almost makes the seamless transition for there to be another film. You know what I mean? Like this one was a definitive ending. Richie's whole family now eradicated, literally murdered, and everybody's left on good terms. They went to the hospital. All of our main people, Gail, the core 4, all in good condition now. Vitals were good, they said at the end. Now it's like, now you have to start from scratch. You have to introduce a whole new plot, like, oh, they went back to college and now they're all good, but they're dealing with trauma now. Gail went back to being a reporter. Kirby went back to being an FBI agent in Atlanta, where she was supposedly at. You know what I mean? Like, it resets everything to zero. If you would have revealed Stu at the end of 6, then everything's amped all the way the fuck up for 7. And all the people that were in the theater, which were only Kirby, Sam, and Tara in the theater part. Like, Chad was there, I understand, but he was bleeding out in the other room. You know what I mean? So then you would have fucking these 3 characters knowing that Stu is there and alive, and he's plotting revenge because Billy Loomis ruined his life when he was a vulnerable teenager to commit those Ghostface murders in 1996. So now he's going to kill the family, his offspring. But nobody believes Sarah, Kirby, or Sam. Tara.
That's interesting.
It would be interesting, right? Because it's a conspiracy. Hear me out though. Then Stu makes his presence known, but he knows that he only has a certain amount of time to get the fuck out of there because the cops came in right after that ending. So Stu is smart to this, and he would get the fuck out of there. And they would say this to the cops, and maybe you end it with them saying, "Stu's alive. There's another Ghostface. There's another Ghostface." boom, credits roll. You know what I mean? Scream has never ended on a plot hanger. The plot has always been resolved in each movie.
Yeah.
Movie, the killer is killed and everything seems to be normal. Why didn't they? You know, this is fantasy booking. They could do this in 7. They could do this in 7, and then that's how you would keep the franchise going.
You know what also would have been cool? If one of them went to prison. Like we need something like that, you know?
Yeah, like they always wind up dying. But then imagine if, so we know Stu's out there, and the main characters know Stu is out there, but the police don't believe it. The press wouldn't believe it. Like Gail Weathers probably, because she wasn't at the theater, dude. She wasn't at the theater, so she would think that that's all a conspiracy, and they're letting their trauma get to them. Like it's over. You were in the Ghostface shrine. It's all in your head. You're playing games.
I like this because Billy is a ghost now. So it makes sense, right?
Right. So then you can have amazing moments where Skeet Ulrich is you know, it's those visions that Sam's always having, and be like, oh well, Billy back when we were kids, he always would do this, or I guess that wouldn't make any sense because it's just a vision, and she, whatever. We're not booking the whole thing. Point being, Stu would be what they always say in all the trailers. You know, this Ghostface is different. This one, something feels different. They always say that in the trailer, but it's never really true. But this one, you would literally make Stu like a ghost, dude. Everybody thinks he's dead. The press thinks he's dead. The police thinks he's dead. And only the 3 main characters, the core 4 would know, let's just say. So, and he's stalking around like better than any Ghostface before, because he's got years and years of built up frustration, dude. So he's literally almost acting as if he's a ghost among the living, because everybody thinks he's dead. He's literally ghost face with the scarred faces and everything.
That'd be perfect.
I know. Let me write it. That'd be so cool.
Off topic here, but if you ever want to do like a Scream fan film, I'm down to fly out there. Cast me in that shit now.
That would be bad fucking ass. Hey, maybe I'll think about it. Oh, I feel like I could talk about this movie forever, but we've been talking. I'm sure this video is so fucking long. I hope you guys kept watching. If you're still here watching us talking spoilers, we appreciate it. Me and Ryan are going to be back on the channel, Are You Not Entertained, to rank the Scream franchise. We might have one additional guest, but you're gonna have to stay tuned for that reveal. It might be Richie's fucking father. You never know who's gonna show up on here. But I appreciated you, Ryan, coming on here and talking. This was really fun, man.
This was actually our first time talking on phone, so
yeah,
we met, but
yeah, I don't know. That's a fucking funny story. Me and Ryan don't usually do this. This is like our first one, and I was like, let's fucking record it for my channel. No, but yeah, Ryan, thanks for doing this. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Scream 6 spoiler talk. There's only one question left to ask. Are you not entertained? Hit him with it, Ryan.
Are you not entertained?